Welcome to Those Odd Numbers podcast. My name is Jason Snider. I'm the founder and CEO of Main Street Financial Group. We are your fractional finance team.
I'm Summer McFarlen. I'm a CPA and certified tax coach. I'm also the co-owner of Main Street Tax Group, where we do strategic tax planning so you can keep more of what you earn.
I am Masheka Turner, and I am the owner of Bright Skies Business Services. We are your outsourced accounting firm and profit first strategies. And we are here to help you create wealth through your business by gaining clarity around your numbers.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Those Odd Numbers. I'm here with Masheka and Summer again today. My name is Jason Snider, the owner of Main Street Financial. And then we're going to talk about something very fun, accounting and AI. And caveat to start, this is probably going to change within 2 or 3 weeks. So don't take anything what we say as gospel, but I think it's worth a discussion given all the information that's flying around out there and on the ground accountants' perspective as we talk through it today as well. Let's see, where do we start? It's so rich of a topic to go over. Maybe I'll start with just a recent experience that I read about from one of our e-commerce accounting groups, an issue where they had set up Claude Code, or I'm not sure if it's Claude Code or what, OpenClaw, I think is the term to do some menial bookkeeping task, and ended up causing a significant amount of issues because it was unchecked and wasn't set up correctly, or whatever the issue was. It just caused a lot of problems. And as much as AI has the capability to make a lot of positive changes, it's in its very early stages. And just like anything computer software related, you want to test it and know what it's doing. And even more so in the accounting cycle, because in many cases, we have to validate that to taxing authorities, potentially your lender, your bank, your business partners, et cetera. You have a higher threshold that you need to attain for documenting and providing transparency. Things. So I don't know, Summer, Masheka, if you either have any other horror stories. There isn't a lot of, I'll say, positive so far from my observations, meaning I don't know any clients that have improved their accounting process with the adoption of AI as of yet. So maybe, Masheka, if you got something looks like.
So that's been mostly my experience. A lot of people want to go that way and they would love to go that way, but the technology is not where it needs to be just yet. I personally feel that AI could revolutionize the accounting industry. I'm all for it. So this is the way I look at AI. I don't look at it as not having a job. I don't look at it as a lack of opportunity. I really feel if we let AI do all of the menial tasks, let AI just do the coding, we can really focus on that high valued stuff that really drives your business forward. So maybe we're focusing on the cash flow, we're focusing on the budgeting, we're really drilling into what's going to move you forward because we're not caught up on all of these menial bookkeeping tasks. That's why I'm excited for improving the technology, because I feel like not only will we be able to serve the clients better, we can spend our time more on valuable things.
Summer, how about from your perspective, especially on the tax side, there's a lot of content online, at least in the accounting forums, about it.
There is a lot, including one influencer that he got a fresh computer, and so it wasn't touching any of his client stuff, but he was running Claude Code. See what it would do. And I don't dare unleash it on any client information, right? Because I use ChatGPT for various things, but don't upload any client information to it. But I do use it a lot for helping with promissory notes that I have to write for clients, that I put together for clients. Kind of those things that add value, right? And then a lot of prompts about this is the situation, blah, 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 blah. And here's the numbers for it and what's the best way. And I think one of the more useful things that helped me with that I did not realize, I'm a child of the 70s and 80s. So I was not born with a phone in my hand. I was not born with Excel. I was not born with a home computer. So some things I really struggle with. Excel. I've never learned to use it. I wanted to use it. And I was doing a pricing calculator a few months ago. And I was and I built it. I just put everything, all the prompts, kept honing in on it on the way I wanted it. And then it asked me, I said, okay, this looks good. I like it. And it said, great. Would you like for me to develop a pricing a calculator for you? I wasn't even at the calculator part yet. I was just putting packages together. And I was like, you can do that? I feel dumb, right? I don't know everything it can do. But yeah, then it did like a Excel and told me how to build the Excel for the pricing calculator. And I didn't struggle with a formula or anything. I just followed the instructions, which I'm very good at, by the way. But anyway, so that was a big help. So I've used it for things like that. As far as for me personally, but I know the topic is AI in accounting. I haven't really seen, I don't know that I use enough accounting software because I'm so tax heavy that I can make a judgment other than I feel like Intuit QuickBooks products are very annoying anyway with all their pop-ups. And once they've added AI, it just got more annoying. So that's my 2 cents on that. And I think it was a few weeks ago, there was a report that an AI agent or something like that had actually done a partnership return correctly. And I didn't say if it was a simple one or what all was involved in it, because those partnership returns can be pretty hairy. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. But I'm with you, Masheka. Everybody's, oh, it's going to take over our jobs. I don't think it is. Sure, it may take over a very simple return, but I don't know that it's going to take over advisory. I see AI more helping us, right? So that we can better help our clients in areas.
Yeah. I think when we were talking earlier before we started recording, I had mentioned about some issues that people come across or other firms when they've tried to use AI. And internally, we've decided that our approach is AI is a force multiplier. We still need that ability. Like Summer, you were just talking about, if you didn't have that knowledge that you already have, putting all that data together and then the output, you wouldn't have been able to qualify that and know how to put it to use. So I look at it more as a force multiplier, accentuating and empowering those who have knowledge already. The interesting thing is long term is if there's no or very little menial work at the beginning, how are people going to be able to gain that knowledge? That's a more philosophical down the road question, but I think we'll see less and less entry level opportunities coming because, like you said, or the both of you said it, I think it's going to take away a lot of the menial manual. It's already been going, if you will, to extinction. It's going to only accelerate and get better at that. Now, one thing I think that people aren't realizing is even with all the AI involved or growing AI involved in the accounting process, and in some other areas like legal and things, we're still individually and company responsible for whatever that product that's being delivered to banks, the taxing authorities, our partners, and things. And so it's until, hopefully, at least in my view, that doesn't change, that a AI agent can act on behalf of an individual or a company and bind the company, which like I said, I don't know that's coming. I haven't heard any discussion about that, but that's still going to be some level of human involvement on every level of the accounting sign-off part of meaning. We have to look it over, review it, and the horror story that I outlined at the beginning, I'm sure there's a lot more of things like that where people are experimenting the wrong way of trying to test it. And hopefully there's no accountants out there in the public accounting arena that are testing. I don't think there are, but bookkeepers are probably the ones who might be testing this and for everything in the accounting world, don't test with client data. Like you said, it's the thing. And the other guardrail we put around in our firm is everything is touched by a human, reviewed by him. In fact, we don't allow anything to be directly output from AI. It has to be modified in some way so that somebody's touched it, looked it over, and approved it for whatever it is. So most of our work right now ends up being shortening the content production cycle for us, planning, some editing. I guess it is AI in the sense of that we're using a tool, but almost all the content we produce now is verbal conversations with me and the marketing team. They're recording that, transcribing it, and then taking that and putting it into whatever format that we're in. So we essentially, we use a transcription, which I guess is AI as well. And then also reformatting it for whatever platform that we're taking it to. But it's not a type of prompt and create an article around this thing. Obviously, we're not going to be doing things like that. And I hope listeners out there are doing something similar for their businesses and things. Any stories of niche applications that people have seen? Obviously, I'll have some with around e-commerce, but either of you in your particular niches that you have worked with AI and how it's been working in that niche?
As far as some of the biggest things that I'm seeing with AI is, of course, I work with med spas, weight loss clinics, cash medical practices. So I'm seeing a lot of things happen in the scheduling area with AI. I'm also seeing a lot of customer follow-up. If people have to cancel their appointment, they're able to get a client rebooked without no touch. And then also I'm seeing, particularly in the med spa arena, there is a lot happening with marketing in AI. So that is really exploding. And I would expect even more of that because all three of those businesses that we work with, most of the niche, they are very heavy people business. So I think that the industry is just open to how can we incorporate technology so that we can really serve people better, because these are people businesses at the end of the day.
And I would accentuate that in the sense of AI is there to empower the relationship, but we look at it as it removes much of the manual or tedious barriers to being better serving our clients and or our outcome that we're trying to serve. Just like in marketing, we want to create better stories and tell better stories and remove whatever technological or manual input barriers. That's what we're hoping to use AI for on our end.
And I think another thing I saw in that AI too is really getting into the algorithms and looking, particularly in the beauty industry, what are people looking at? What type of procedures are they looking at? And then taking that data from the algorithm and making sure that it's pushed out and making sure your clinic is on the list. So that's another reason why I really believe that it's an emerging marketing, that med spa industry specifically.
And I do think it's going to always improve. I think many of the content out there says it's only going to get better, and I would agree with that. I think the one differentiator I would put out there, that, like we talked about pre-recording, was AI is not going to be a labor substitute in knowledge business. It's only going to be, or it is going to be a force multiplier for those who have the knowledge of whatever the application the AI is going to be using and things. And the other caution I'd say around AI, I just recently was trying to engage with a vendor of signing up for a service for some marketing that we're working on, a new project. And two of the vendors I tried to reach out to, both I got shunted to an AI conversation bot. And it basically broke any type of a sales conversation that I was trying to kept putting me back into some feedback loop, and I never got anywhere. And therefore, neither of those companies got to work with us. No, not even know if we would be their ideal type of client, but we never even got to have the conversation because the loop kept breaking it. When I asked it to speak to an individual, an agent, it just put me back into the loop again and asked me the same, and I'll use the word dumb questions because they're dumb after you've been asked once already.
And that's really unfortunate because, again, even accounting, bookkeeping, taxes, it's a people business at the end of the day. And it sounds like what I'm hearing you say is they were using AI, but because there was some things that were maybe unchecked or something was not set up correctly, it got to the point where it felt like you were not already being taken care of on the front end. So why even move forward with this company if my expectations are not being managed on the front end because this is incorporated.
Yep.
So if they can't get this part right that the computer touch, why should I trust the people over there to touch it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's that we internally, we value software technology providers based on their customer support and the quality of it. I think I've shared before that our first 2 years of business, we did not support any QuickBooks clients at the time because of issues around customer support. We had a fixed fee per month arrangement. And clients at that time had the expectation that we would troubleshoot whenever there was errors. And there was a significant amount of time, or at least in our niche of e-commerce at the time, and we couldn't attain or keep that pricing intact if we were spending all kinds of time on support calls and things, which was almost non-existent during that period of time. It was in the hours, as I recall. So we weren't able to support, and we didn't support, and we didn't have any lack of business either. And so that scale, and obviously we're too small for Intuit to really care about us, but it is something that we're very cognizant of when we're evaluating providers. Unless we have only one choice, or it's really constrained number of vendors out there, we're going to evaluate based on their customer service. The technology obviously has to deliver, but if they don't have the support around it, we'll move on to somebody else, even if it's slightly more expensive, because I can budget that. I can't budget unknown factors when it comes around customer support.
I can understand that.
Yeah, I've yelled it. I've typed in exclamation. Those agent bots.
Yeah.
Like, where is a person?
Yeah.
And this is the thing as far as the agent bots. I don't mind that, but it has to be value. It has to be where they're really answering my question.
Yeah, you need to
But
give
if
me
you're-
what I want to know.
That's it. But if I'm getting caught in a loop and it's apparent from the get-go that I'm not talking to a person, that's when you already get this wall build up. And I don't even want to talk to you anymore. Put me through to a person.
Yeah.
Well, I think we could talk a lot more about it. And I know we're going to try to get a couple of guests in the future to share that are more knowledgeable or much more involved in the AI with application in the accounting industry in the coming weeks. But there's a lot more to uncover, and I'm sure we'll have more discussions in upcoming episodes. Any last words before we finish off for this week?
There was an interesting article yesterday or Tuesday in The Guardian where, I don't know if y'all heard this, but Anthropic said it's yet to be released artificial intelligence model, Claude Mythos, has proving keenly adept at exposing software weaknesses. So they are delaying the release of that. They think people can use it to hack. And we all know the hackers are smarter than any of us.
And when you're dealing with financial data, that's just a no-go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was interesting. We're for AI. I think it is going to be a good thing, but you really got to be careful and really think about it and what's the use for it and everything before you don't just unleash it without some controls.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. And then what I'd add is we are going to test walled off or air gapped, if you will, where we're using some LLM, I guess would be the technical term, isolated so that we can test and build some of our own applications and see how well it runs and stuff. So consider those types of things, scenarios as you're testing. Don't use your customer data for those that are accountants. I think that's a no-brainer to start with that, but there are ways you can do it without creating a lot of costs. Another thing for accounting firm owners out there in businesses is look at maybe having somebody technical join the company of how to integrate and manage those things, because we talked about the cost savings can be very impactful when done correctly. We'll finish up for this week, and thank you for joining another episode of Those Odds and Numbers, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
This content is for general informational purposes only and is based on current law and guidance as of the date of recording. Tax law and regulations are subject to change. This discussion should not be considered tax, legal, or investment advice. Listeners should consult their own tax or financial professional regarding their specific situation.